For the first time in many months, I actually had a real day off. I had neither the energy nor the desire to do anything around the house. After sleeping in until noon, I had just settled comfortably on the couch with a mug of cocoa and some leftover cottage cheese pancakes from yesterday, turning on the TV, when I heard the front door open. What the? I froze. It was impossible not to recognize my mother-in-law's sharp voice. So this is what you do all day? Just sit around being lazy? Hello to you too, Natalia Pavlovna, I said automatically, the mug still halfway to my lips. She snorted, muttering something about lazy youth, and marched straight into the kitchen, immediately starting to bang dishes around. My appetite vanished instantly, along with any enjoyment of my long-awaited rest. With a sigh, I got up and went to find her. That didn't take long. Splashing water everywhere, she was aggressively washing the dishes Oleg had left in the sink that morning. Well, she drawled. I was still recovering from the shock of her sudden and dramatic invasion, but I decided to push back. Natalia Pavlovna, could you slow down for a second? What do we owe this visit to? And how exactly did you get into the apartment? She looked at me like I was an insect. What, I can't come to my own son's home without an invitation now? No, I replied calmly, not falling for the manipulation. Not without one. Your son doesn't live here alone, I live here too. That's number one. Number two, please stop taking over my kitchen. And number three, you didn't answer how you got in. Well, look at you, giving orders, she snapped. Go boss your own mother around. This is Oleg's apartment, which means it's mine too. Now close your mouth and go clean something while I cook some proper food. That was too much. In 2 years of marriage, I'd gotten used to her behavior. But this time, she had clearly outdone herself. Natalia Pavlovna was a forceful woman, a former distinguished worker of trade. Back in the day, she made good money selling premium cuts of beef under the counter to the right people while ringing up cheap soup bones at the register. She firmly believed her opinion was the only correct one, and that the entire world was just waiting to hear it. Without the slightest embarrassment, she lectured everyone around her, generously handing out advice, even to complete strangers. From the very first meeting, she had disliked me intensely and without question, simply because I refused to hang on her every word and insisted on doing things my own way. Family dinners were especially exhausting. Every bite I took was commented on, and refusing any dish or drink was treated like a personal insult. Things got even worse when Oleg and I bought our apartment with a mortgage. My mother-in-law became convinced that I would throw her naive little boy out on the street the moment the loan was paid off. The apartment belongs to Oleg only halfway, I said firmly. The other half is mine. So I'm asking you to stop what you're doing and leave. I assume you somehow got hold of our keys, so please give them back. There it is, your true face, she shot back. Already dividing up the apartment, are you? Don't get ahead of yourself. I'm not giving you any keys. My son made me a duplicate key. I'm living here now, and nobody asked you. I wasn't ready for that turn at all. Only then did I notice 2 suitcases and a large travel bag sitting in the hallway. What do you mean you're living here? I asked, still trying to process what was happening, refusing to believe it was real. Exactly that. This is my son's house, and he invited me to stay. My apartment is under renovation. I'm not going to breathe dust for weeks, she said, finally offering an explanation. Then it hit me. About a month ago, Oleg had casually mentioned that his mother was planning renovations and was looking for a crew. He'd said she was worried about comfort during the work. But he never once said she'd be moving in with us. And I definitely would not have agreed to that. My hand started shaking as I grabbed my phone and called him. Your mother showed up with suitcases and says she's moving in with us. What is going on? I shouted before he even had a chance to greet me. Babe, calm down, Oleg started awkwardly. I didn't have time to talk to you about it. It's just temporary. Her renovation started earlier than expected. It's only for a couple of weeks. So you didn't think I needed to be asked? Or my opinion doesn't matter in decisions about my own home? Sorry, I didn't think it through, he said, but it didn't sound sincere. Either way, I couldn't say no. She's my mother. And who am I, Oleg? I snapped. What am I to you? Lena, don't start, he cut me off irritably. Mom is staying with us because I said so. I'm busy right now. We'll talk tonight. Then he hung up. That was the moment it really hit me. My husband had just made it very clear who mattered more. It hurt more than I expected. I didn't know what the right move was anymore. I needed to talk to him calmly, but doing that in front of his mother would be impossible. So I packed a small bag, changed, and left. The rest of the day turned out surprisingly peaceful. I had lunch at a cozy cafe, walked around the city for hours, and even went to the movies. For a while, I let myself not think about any of it. By 6 p.m., I decided to go home. That was usually when Oleg got back from work. He was there when I arrived. Sitting at the kitchen table, eating a hearty bowl of soup. The smell of fried onions and meat filled the apartment. His mother was bustling around the stove like she owned the place. Oh, look who decided to come back, she said as soon as she saw me. Oleg half-heartedly tried to step in. Mom, don't start. Relax, she said sweetly. Dinner's ready. Sit down, Lena. I sat down, exhausted, and stared at the bowl in front of me. The soup had clearly been overloaded with fatty meat and onions. It looked heavy, greasy, completely unappetizing. Oleg probably loved it. He'd grown up eating her cooking. But I could barely stand the smell. Thanks, but I don't want any, I said quietly. Then I looked up. We need to talk. She leaned back in her chair with a satisfied expression, like she already knew she had won something. Go ahead, talk, she said calmly, taking a sip of tea, my favorite cup, of course. I ignored her and turned to Oleg. I am completely against your mother living in our apartment. Even for a few days. We have a difficult relationship, and I don't want constant conflict in my own home. He frowned immediately. And what do you want me to do? He snapped. Put my mother out on the street? She raised me. Then rent her a place, I said firmly. Or figure it out properly. These are things you discuss before making decisions that affect both of us. Silence fell over the kitchen, heavy and uncomfortable. They show up in your home with suitcases like it's nothing and then just announce they're moving in like you don't have a say. She came into my home, not some rental, I said, already losing my patience. And no, there's no extra money for renting an apartment right now. My entire salary goes to the mortgage. Oleg tried to argue. You don't need to explain that to me. The house is mine too. Or did you forget, sweetheart? That's when I snapped. One more time, I am not living with your mother. That is not happening. Then I forced myself to breathe. But I do understand the situation. So here's what we're going to do. Take some money from our savings account, the one for vacation. There's about 400,000 there. A short-term rental for a couple of months can't be more than 30,000 a month. I'll get a bonus at work and put it back later. One condition though, we decide this right now. Silence. A heavy, uncomfortable silence filled the kitchen. I could feel the tension coming off Oleg in waves. Even his usually loud and opinionated mother had gone quiet, which somehow made it worse. Then Oleg finally spoke, barely above a whisper. I already took the money. A week ago. I blinked. What? It was for her, he said flatly. For the renovation materials and labor. I was going to tell you later. My ears rang. And we're not going to Bali this summer, he added quickly. I was going to explain that too. For a second, I just stared at him. Then I stood up. Slowly. I picked up the bowl of borscht sitting in front of him, still steaming, thick with sour cream, and without saying a word, I poured it over his head. The kitchen exploded. His mother screamed something obscene. Oleg froze in shock, dripping soup down his face. I didn't wait for either of them to react. I grabbed my bag, turned, and walked out. The door slammed behind me so hard the whole hallway echoed. I didn't cry. I just kept walking, not even paying attention to where I was going. Because something inside me had already shut off completely. Today wasn't just a bad day. It was the end of my marriage. If Oleg giving his mother keys without asking me was bad communication, then stealing our savings was something else entirely. Something I couldn't come back from. At least I had my passport in my bag. At least I had my job and my own income. And at least I hadn't transferred the last of my money into that shared account yet. I made a mistake in choosing a man. But that didn't mean I had to stay and pay for it. Next step was simple. Divorce. And I wasn't planning to leave him a single extra cent.